The Professors is brought to you by Blackborder.com. On the site shop, you can now pre-order Rise of the Eldrazi boxes, cases, intro packs, singles, and more. So support the show and go check out Blackborder.com today. Hello everybody and welcome to yet another episode of The Professors. This week we'll be taking a look ahead at Extended for the San Juan PTQ season, breaking down the numbers, giving you the qualifying lowdown, and observing the updated reserved list. So let's draw. Friday's the night for Magic, right? The night to score, the night of fun when you can rock it down at the card shop. Well, sure. That is, except when you're working on making a video show not a day late. Again. So here's my sanctioned Magic tournaments story. I've only played in 26 officially sanctioned tournaments, 2 of them PTQs. I consider myself a PTQ player in Spike though, due to consistently high finishes and the fact that my DCI number has hiked above 1890 before. But what of the only 2 PTQs? Well, the first was in February of 2008. I was rocking a 5-color zoo deck, and doing great. I had put dozens of hours into testing, and knew a lot about my theoretical matchups. Hell, at this point I'd had better developed skills in Extended than Standard, Draft, Sealed, and Legacy combined. In fact, after the 6th out of 8th round, I was 6-0. However, being 13 at the time and needing a ride, I was forced to take the hour-long trip back because of a blizzard that had already put a few inches on the ground in northern New Jersey. It wasn't until a year later I was able to get to a second PTQ. But not knowing anything about how to play Teps and facing 2 Fairies decks, the coffin was sealed at 03 drop. It is now an additional year later, and I'll soon be able to adequately get non-parental transportation, cards, and money thanks to my awesome employers at Blackborder.com, and time to test, despite having consistent research papers, essays, trifold boards, journal articles, and tests to write, make, and study for. That said, before I get to the actual PTQ play, how much of a barrier is age to Magic? I don't mean the fact that small children's parents won't let them buy packs or let them join the DCI because both are labeled 13 and over activities, though those didn't stop an 8-year-old kid from getting to Day 2 of Grand Prix Kuala Lumpur. However, middle school to college students, often unable to get a job or drive to events or get money to construct a deck, are thus at a disadvantage, correct? Yes, of course. But this is when anyone not working with 4 copies of every card in a constructed format is forced to make prudent decisions. Doing research for the best place to buy singles or forming a team to put cards together. You could, say, shop at Blackborder.com, now offering Rise of the Eldrazi pre-orders instead of many other sites because of vastly lower prices. But I'm getting off topic. I'll be at this PTQ, and have come to the conclusion that Brozic Boros is currently the deck to play. Here's what we know about the metagame now. First, despite Brozic Boros having never won a Pro Tour qualifier this season, it has consistent top 8 numbers. Second, Brozic Boros has, in my playing experience, an 80-20 matchup against the Thefts deck, old and new, which is more than ample for an 8 or 9 round tournament. Its matchup versus Zoo is also favorable, even if only proving a 60 to 65% favorability from Boros' speed. Third, turns out it is necessary to keep Volcanic Fallouts in the sideboard, despite what I said a few weeks ago, advising that you take them out for Aethersworn Canonists, because, while it does limit your ability to kill things in the Elves matchup, it happens to drastically assist the Fairies matchup, which you otherwise have a 50-50 or potentially worse matchup against. Here's the final list. Ever since the discovery of the priceless treasures in Zendikar packs, the infamous term of speculation has hovered around the reserved list's existence and contents of over 300 cards. Now, with an announcement by Wizards of the Coast that it will be permanent, I'm relieved. Why is that, you ask? Why do I want Legacy to keep its $90 lands and 0-mana counterspells? Is it because I don't want the cost of the old dual lands and Power 9 to sink? No. Even if any one of those 19 cards were reprinted, it would not in fact sink the cost of the ones in existence. Is it because I don't want the Eternal formats to become more accessible? No. If there's a style of Magic that you want to play, you should be able to play it. Whether that be Elder Dragon Highlander, cube drafting, or standard with 8 of your own custom sets. Budget should not be this much of an issue. Do I think the card should not be reprinted in a regular set to stop people from being able to play this ridiculousness in Standard? Well, yeah, obviously. But as it would more likely be, do I not want the cards to be reprinted in the premium limited edition sets? Yes. Why? Because of the frustration it creates. Magic is a game of tons of numbers, and it will always be. But it is more than one game of numbers. The financial value of cards coming out and ability to purchase them at whim is a part of anyone who hasn't struck it big's financial game. It would have been a genius strategy to purchase 4 Jace the Mind Sculptor on pre-sale for $100, and an idiotic one to buy foil versions now for $100 each. based on cost alone. Likewise, if the player base discovered they could get Black Lotuses for $100 while supplies last, it makes the majority of the player base that can't get these limited edition Black Lotuses extremely frustrated. Just like when an opponent goes Bloodbraid Elf into Blightning, you finding out that these Lotuses are only $100 35 seconds after 1,000 other people, and thus after the limited supply has been bought out. But with the lists update, I still have a few questions. For example, why are all these cards on the reprint list? Is Griffin Canyon really a broken card? Is Firestorm Hellkite really a rules bender? The answer, of course, is no. So, question is, will Wizards quote-unquote revise this policy once again, despite saying that it won't change, in order to allow certain cards to play out their effective niche? If this is the case, I believe it's an effective plan. While it is deceitful, that's okay to a certain extent. Allowing some combo cards into controlled formats is okay, but as for the legacy playable cards, what are the ways around, say, dual lands? I have a few ideas. Perhaps one black mana instant that destroys a land with 2 basic land types? Seems certainly fair, yet, on the other hand, what about the Ravnica dual lands? Well, this would obviously restrict the printing of this iconoclast to after the rotation have extended for the design to play fairly. As for the vintage situation, that is to say, a situation in which people need to have 6 to 9 pieces of power to play, what if we had ways to steal cards from other people already playing them? Well, Merfolk like Thada Adel give Vintage the potential to be a format with 100 fair decks, 94 playing without Power 9, and relatively new cards, if they do something that's meta-specific. Thada Adel does that, but does not yet have a Vintage deck to call home. Also, 3 mana with double blue is not exactly the bottom of the Vintage range. But wait, did I mention the 9 cards being removed from this list in 2010? Well, sure, we knew Phyrexian Negator was coming to Phyrexia vs. the Coalition dual decks, being released today, but we see some sweet Judge promos in the form of Phyrexian Dreadnought, Wheel of Fortune, Thawing Glaciers, and Morphling. Sure, none of these compare to the recent Force Removal judges got for dedicating themselves to the game, but the fact that those have an exceptionary removal from the reserved list is colossal. But what's more? What has escaped the reserve list to make an appearance in From the Vault's Relics? Well, as an awesome fun card, we see Karn's Silver Golem. However, we also see the more useful Memory Jar, Mastercore, and Mox Diamond. Nice $50 to $75 bill you got there. From the Vault Relics is sure to prove the most valuable of the 3 From the Vault so far, so be sure to acquire yours in any way possible this summer. So until next time, this is Anthony Palmario. On behalf of the Professors, we're tapped out for now, but we'll untap soon.